Hello, TimberSurf here with Vid Bit number 12. Gosh, are we that far along? Right, I am betting that most of you have one of these, commonly known as a Dremel, which obviously is a like calling cornflakes Kellogg's, but yeah, it's a high-speed modeller's rotary tool. If you haven't got one of these, you should have, because they're really, really useful. Okay, the main use for them is to use them on cutting discs like this. I'll just zoom in. So these little fellas are a carborundum disc that is capable of cutting through metal and lots of other materials, and it's ideal for cutting your track rather than your Xuron cutters. To get down close, and it's hard to see, but if I put that there, you probably won't see, but there's a gap underneath the wheel, as in I can't get it down to the bench. So reality is that once it's in, you end up putting it at an angle to get down to where the rails are, which is a bit of a problem. So first tip is get yourself an extension, a flexible extension, which is so much slimmer, and it means that you can get it down to the flat base. Let me find something flat. Got nothing. Oh, ruler. Yes, so as you can see there, if I put that down there, I can get all the way down to the flat bit, yeah, and the actual body isn't touching, which means I can cut down to the track. Whereas if I replace that with the original one, you can see there, very hard to do when you've got the other hand occupied. Yeah, you can see there is that I can't get down to it. Okay, so that's my first top tip about drills and whatnot. Well, not drills, high-speed rotary cutter, whatever you want to call it, and using your cut-off bits. Also, lots of other bits available. Here's one I made earlier. He said leaning backwards, and as you can see, there are a huge amount of different styles of burrs and grinders and polishers and wire wheels, etc., that you can get. This particularly good little mini sander, great for taking lots of material off without a lot of hand labour. Why am I still holding the ruler? Oh, right. So the main tip that I'm going to talk about are the cutting discs, because they're very good until you break one. And believe you me, this is going to be painful, because it's going to cost me money. Look, little bit of pressure. Oh, it's broked. Yeah, oh well. They're very cheap. So cheap that you have to buy them in bulk. Yeah, blooming masses of them, and you don't have to go through them. It's not abnormal to go through 2 or 3 just doing one cutting job. Not brilliant. Okay, what's the answer? Well, the first answer is buy the tougher ones. These are, you might not be able to focus it. No, my camera's rubbish. But you just about see there, it's actually got a little crisscross pattern in it, and that gives it a reinforcement. It is thicker, so your cut will be a lot thicker than using that one, kind of waste of material, but they're a lot stronger and survive a lot longer. And I thought there's got to be something out there that's better than that. So I went hunting on eBay, as is my forte, and what I came up with was a couple of alternatives, and one that really got me interested was these. And these are little tiny saws. So that one's 35mm, this one's 50mm, yeah, and basically they've got ordinary saw teeth, and you'd think, yes, mate, that will be the job. That will go through everything apart from metal. Job's a good one. And I did think about making a little bench saw out of them and all sorts of gobbledygook, and no, it doesn't really work. So, what are they good for? Well, you can use them in your Dremel, but this is the whole point of this vid bit, is if you're going to put one of these in an arbor, which is the little device that holds these things, like that. Here's a broken one I broke earlier. Yeah, it will just about fit onto the right size arbor. Not these little ones, but you can get other arbors that it will fit. In fact, I think it came with a kit when I bought this. You'll see that there's a slot there where the arbor came that takes them. So they fit a standard 3mm shaft, and you think the job's a good one. But here's the warning. What they don't tell you, and what's not obvious, and if I can read it on here, yeah, it does say 20,000 revs per minute. Now that basically means that this will not survive if you take it to speeds higher than that. However, 20,000 revs per minute is faster than most jet engines go. Yes, the chances of you getting it up there are pretty remote. What they also don't mention is that if your system is not balanced perfectly, yes, it will self-destruct like a jet engine. And that's the point about what I'm doing this vid bit about, is if you're going to buy these and you're going to do any cutting with them and use them in your Dremel, what you must never do is take it above the lowest speed of the Dremel. I don't think I need to tell you why, but believe you me, the other night this scared the living daylights out of me, because I'm shaking from just thinking about it. Is the Dremel went off like a flipping, well, I daren't mention what it was like, but it was vibrating a great deal, and I was scared to death that this thing was going to fly out and kill me, somebody, or bounce off the walls and cut the place up. So yes, if you're going to fit them, please never have it above the lowest setting in your Dremel. It will work, and they're okay for doing very light materials like wood, balsa, etc. They are good. But don't attempt to put the speed up, because it will end up in tears. The other thing I want to mention, apart from that, which is super scary, I don't know whether I'm going to hang that on the wall, put a frame around it or something. The other thing that is available for your Dremel are these. Now these are diamond coated discs. Now you might wonder what use they are, and I'm still working it out. Because I can tell you now, don't buy these and think these are indestructible and they're going to do all your metal cutting and never ever wear out, because it don't work like that. They will not cut metal. They're not designed really for cutting even, because there's only a very small amount of diamonds on the outer edge. Most of them are on the surface. So I think these are ideal if you're cutting into things like plaster or rock or stone or something like that, or if you're grinding it down, they'll be great. But for pretty much everything else, they're not a lot of cop. If you attempt to do plastic on them, it just melts, because it's just like an abrasive and heats it up and melts it. These are actually quite good for plastic. You've got to be very careful, because it'll catch and then it'll kick up and you'll get scared. I wouldn't advise you really to use these on plastic. They're probably best on wood, because if you could put these in your tool, it's worrying. There's a risk. Yeah, so here's your health warning. Be careful. Wear gloves, goggles, helmets, protective armour, because if these things go wrong, it's going to scare the living daylights out of you, and you may well end up in hospital. Sorry it's been a bit of a long one, but I'll catch you in the next one, and just remember, no high speed with the wood cutting bits.